Stop recording.
Think about it, Caesar. It's the perfect food and it will cause you amnesia. Stack a million up until they lean like Caesar. Eat all the toppings or a single slice of cheese. Furby's making dough. Furby pumping money. Furby needs pizza dough to put inside my tummy. Furby aerosol. Furby cheese. Furberoni too. Hey, hold the anchovies. Oh, sorry. Unai still there? Pizza, pizza. Let's make Furby first smile.
All right, and hi everybody. I just figured I would do an intro with Mr. Furby that I put back with all the other Furbies over there in Furby Land on my desk. Happy New Year, because we just had a new year and now it's 2025. And I know I watched the ball drop and I enjoyed watching performances by Alanis Morissette and TLC and Blake Shelton and a bunch of different ones. And they were showing different places around the globe that were celebrating New Year's and all the parties. And they did pretty good because I didn't have access to an audio described version of the New Year Rockin' Eve or anything. But I got a lot of feedback from the people.
Here are some tips to keep your cats off of the counter.
Hey,
Number cats.
shh, you're interrupting my video. So yeah. So one thing I noticed today that I thought was interesting to bring up is the fact that, for blind users of canes, when there's a lot of wind, whether it be during the spring or the fall, or in my case, the winter now, or in everybody's case, the wind does kind of blow your cane around a little. I just noticed that, just thought about it, how, and it's like when people drive cars, you want to be slow about it. Don't speed race, to get where you're going when it's icy outside, when there's slippery spots, because whether you're walking or you're in a car or whatever your transport is, getting around, or mobility, you just have to be careful of each other and yourself, because you don't want to fall when you're walking, or you don't want to crash when you're driving too fast, or braking and all that stuff. So anyway, I'm reading 2 really good books right now. The House Next Door is one of them, and I'm watching it. I'm actually listening to it on YouTube, and YouTube does actually have books on audio, which I think is extremely cool. Let's see. Here's my voice.
App switcher. YouTube. Active. Track position. 2 hours 46 minutes. Collapse video. Autoplay is on. Cast. Captions on. More action. Previous video. Rewind. Blip forward. Next. Track position. 2 hours 46. Full screen. 100. The House Next Door by Darcy Coates. Vertical line. Audiobook.
Darcy Coates is the author of this book, and it's the House Next Door. And okay, so that's that book, and then this book I have open on my Kindle, and I think I have screen curtain on, so if you can't see the screen, that's why. Let's see. This book is called...
Table of content. Getting Out. A post-apocalyptic EMP survival thriller. The EMP Book 1. Heading.
So it's called Getting Out, and I think it's part of a series.
In-book search. Annotations. Reading settings. More options. Add bookmark. Page 240. Page 200. Add book. More options. Reading
I guess it doesn't have the author's name.
In-book search. Getting Out. A post-apocalyptic EMP survival thriller. The EMP Book 1. Heading.
But anyway, it's called Getting Out, and it's a post-apocalypse type of book. So that one, okay, so the Getting Out book is focused on the power grid going down. So like there's no electricity, no phones, including our precious probably iPhones and Android and all that. All the computer systems are down. So Mac, Windows, Linux, like all of that stuff, like going on the internet, all of that, ordering food, going to the grocery store, and you can't because in their world right now, all the grocery stores are done. Like, there's no power, you can't run anything to keep the food cool, you can't have registers to ring up people's orders, and it's a lot like the movies, and a lot of those movies have like zombies and stuff, but like, it's all survival. Everybody's out for themselves. And I just think, and I remember hearing a podcast a few years ago where something happened similar, but not like a blackout like we experienced a few years ago across, I think, did it affect both the east and west like coasts? Anyway, like the power grid went down, and there was kind of the same thing, but only for a couple days. But it was like everybody was scrambling for water and food and stuff. And when it's a mass thing where like everybody's affected, that's crazy, like COVID and stuff like that. Like, but in this instance, there's a couple of families that start off by themselves, and then eventually they meet each other, and it's like their cars collide. So it goes on, and the one is like a man who already had like his own shelter. Like when you know how you go up north and there's like a cabin when you go up north on vacation and stuff like that. That was that for him. And the same with this other family where it's a woman and her 2 kids, and she is a fighter. She's a single mom, and she just has that fighting instinct. And in both parties, and even when they finally meet in the accident, they only would use weaponry if they had to, like somebody was threatening them, but they wouldn't just go out to kill for vengeance and stuff, but they would like steal a car if they had to, or and that's what happened. But the lady, lost control of the vehicle, and the guy, his neighbor in the apartment complex, they end up joining forces and trying to survive together. And then, and way back in the beginning, it's like he's at work, and the power grid goes out right when he's at work, and he tells his boss, who's like looming over him, because a lot of bosses tend to be that like, I'm better than you, I say what goes, don't forget I'm the queen bee or the king bee, whatever you want to call it, just like that's just the way it is. And how dare you talk down to me, I'm the anyway. They so the guy says, bad things are gonna happen, I just know it, and the boss is like, well, you're fired because you don't know how to keep your mouth shut, and this power thing is gonna come back on, like, and the guy's like, no, it's not, like, and he just has this feeling or whatever. So anyway, it's, and then the other book I'm reading, the one, what is it called? The House Next Door. That one is one of my favorite like genre is like the scary supernatural type, not like I like the thriller psychological ones too, where it's like people like sometimes it's family and they're like, oh, this person's suspicious, and then it ends up being a different family member in the end, like the story flips and it's someone else the whole time. But anyway, the house next door is haunted, and the neighbor has been there not too long, but long enough to see the previous tenants like leave in the middle of the night. They just take off. They take all their stuff and just hightail it out of there. And she finds out from the neighbor across the street, who had been there way longer than her, like 60 years or no, I don't know. Anyway, she was older and very much knows what's going on around her, neighborhood and stuff. So she filled her in on some of the history of the house and the hauntings there. And in that book, the technical the thing that sticks out technically, like this is a tech channel, but I do focus on other stuff sometimes, is her cousin is the only family member of hers, this girl that's and he's skeptical, but she makes friends with the neighbor in the haunted house. Like she goes over with some muffins because she's a baker, and then the lady seems pretty content to stay in this haunted house because it was like a grab because it was cheaper to move there. And I think because it's it's got a history, so it was like a bargain deal, and she jumped on it because the previous place that she had come from was not safe. Like the person and situation she was with wasn't safe, so she moved there, and so she's trying to make the best of it, even though all these weird occurrences keep happening, like freaky things, and they keep seeing stuff in the house, and so she's there, and the neighbor's trying to convince her, like, let's leave this, and she's like, well, this is my house, like, I want to settle here, and she's a doll maker, so she has like this whole room dedicated to just her work, and she's like, I want to make it work, and I know it's kind of a creepy situation, but I'm okay, so yeah, I really like both books, and it's pretty cool, like the different ways I get books. Like I have my my reader that I got from the library for the blind here, that I can like download books onto it from Bard, or I like I did, I went on YouTube and typed in audiobooks, and that's how I got my source there, and that's when I found that the house next door. And then I have my Kindle subscription for Kindle Unlimited. They have some really good reads in there. Like some books I still have to, like, if I really want the book, maybe I'll think about purchasing if I have the extra money. But like they do have so much to offer, especially in my genres that I like a lot, is either the supernatural or psychological thrillers, and and I also read Flowers for Algernon, and either some people have read it and they're like, slightly older, and they read it in school, and I saw it on Facebook, actually. I like when sometimes you come across really educational posts like that, where in Flowers for Algernon was about a man who has challenges with like cognitive impairment, but he gets this surgery that can fix that to where he becomes like a genius, and he starts to read and learn and grow. But then there were certain areas, like the way he looked at women at first, that he had to kind of mature to be like any other social adult, and it's just, and then he kind of does races against this mouse named Algernon, and the mouse has also went through the same surgery, and he gets they race against each other through mazes, and at first he doesn't do well and is mad that the mouse is outdoing him, but then as he progresses in his learning abilities, he starts doing better, and then but it goes through this whole ordeal of him like writing down all his thoughts and everything, and then eventually the surgery causes, it doesn't stay that way, he starts declining again and forgetting, and stuff like that. So but it was a really touching book, and I really liked reading it, and that one was not a part of Kindle Unlimited, but so yeah, I just wanted to come on and just do a video in the new year and talk about a few books and how I go about reading them. And I think it's great that even YouTube offers audio books, because you know, sometimes there's some good reads out there and you're like, well, maybe I don't want to spend $12 or this amount of money on a book. So I hope that they don't ever like take them down or something, but I know YouTube has criteria for music and stuff like that. So but anyways, I hope everyone's doing well in the new year. Happy New Year, even though it's past, you know, New Year's New Year's Day, but still technically the new year. So Happy New Year. I hope everyone's doing well out there. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Show caption. Stop recording.